So Morocco is on fire. A fisherman in the north of the country yanked a swordfish out of the Med. Problem is, you're not allowed to catch swordfish at this time of the year, so the cops arrested the fish and the man. His name is Muchin Fikri, and they threw the fish in the back of a dump truck, like the ones Pick It Up's got, with a compactor at the rear. Things got a bit testy, bit of pushing and shoving. The next thing, Mr. Fikri jumps inside the dump truck in order to retrieve his swordfish, and somebody presses the button. Crushed. Both of them. So now the place is up in arms. And remember that in 2011, the whole Arab Spring started when a single street vendor in Tunisia set himself on fire. So now what? So here's another example of state-owned enterprise uselessness in South Africa. I present you the case of Eskom. This information comes to us from my friend Anton Eberhardt at the Cape Town University. You're not going to be able to see this, so let's go full screen. There are a couple of things about Eskom that have remained the same in the last decade or so. For example, the amount of electricity generating capacity, their sales, and their coal purchases. But what's that? A whole lot of things that are definitely not the same. No, they've gone through the roof. For example, average selling price of electricity increased hugely from 18 to 78 cents per kilowatt hour. Well, what about coal purchasing? Well, we know where some of that money is going. And employee costs, of course, through the roof. Employee numbers through the roof too. Debts, totally out of control. Credit ratings shot to hell. I can tell you what the conclusion is you can draw from this, and that is nuclear program never happening. Cannot be funded by this organization at acceptable prices. The Millennium Tower in downtown San Francisco, built in 2009. Incredible building, 58 floors, over 400 multi-million-dollar condos. It's a residential building. Since then, it's been gradually sagging into the ground. It's already fallen by 40 centimeters. Well, it's not enough to put the building at risk, but it's enough to break up the paving on the ground floor. The city, of course, also had a plan in the area to build a major transportation hub underneath that area, and that's been put on hold. Oh my soul, what the cost that must be. What about the prices at which the condos have been exchanging hands? Well, with this news going around, those have been sinking too. Air quality in New Delhi, India, the worst in the world. Home to 17 million people. Terrible. Tourism collapsing. The interesting thing is, this time last year when the problem happened, the Indian authorities flew into action. They basically banned diesel vehicles, new ones. They slapped a levy on diesel fuel of 1%. They switched the buses in Delhi to liquefied natural gas. They took all sorts of measures, even banning cars from going into the city at certain days of the week. Only problem is this year, the problem is back and it's the same, it's even worse, and it's been found that the problem isn't even the cars at all. No, not at all. The major source of the haze and smog that sinks into that area is in fact from burning of crop residues in the Punjab hinterland around New Delhi. And this problem isn't going away. It's farmers, for example, burning the rice straw after the crop in order to plant the next one. Difficulty is, as I say, big election coming up in the Punjab. It's a very sensitive group, that farmers, rural, agrarian vote. Basically, nothing's going to happen.